Harris.
Trey Yingst, always great reporting. Thank you for the update for this hour. More now on the regime's use of cluster munitions. These weapons are designed to spread damage over a wide area of the battlefield, but Iran is using them to target its own civilians, as Trey was just reporting for us. And here is the process. A large missile is fired from the air or from the ground. The casing then opens during flight, releasing a cluster of as many as 70 small and deadly bombs. Those dozens of bombs spread out into the air indiscriminately, hence the threat to anyone there, including civilians. Upon impact, the field of explosives can cover an area of up to 5 miles. More than 100 countries have signed a global treaty banning cluster munitions because of the threat to civilians. And there are countries who are not on it. For instance, Iran and Israel. And the United States said back in 2008 it wants to retain the option as a defense strategy to be able to use these should it be necessary. It is important to note that only Iran is using cluster bombs in this conflict, and again, against their own people. Of course, they killed 35,000, at least, protesters weeks ago in Iran. So using something on their own people, well, we know how they feel about that. Brent Sadler, retired Navy captain, served in the Pentagon during President Trump's first term. Good to see you. I first of all just want to get your reaction to how willing Iran is to kill its own people.
Oh, it's Iran killing its own people. They did 32,000 of them in January, which no one should forget because it's the best example of the nature of this regime. And certainly, if they're willing to kill their own people, they're certainly not hesitant to kill women and children. And again, the targeting using these cluster munitions, they're indiscriminate. This is why there's this international legal debate, discussion, and treaties about banning these weapons.
Brent, I'm going to cut in now because I want to correct myself and also set the record straight. Iran is using these on Israeli citizens at this point. I'll let you go.
No, the weapon system's designed to go after personnel, military personnel in the field to slow advances when you're trying to defend. You know, first during the Cold War, a Soviet invasion across from the Eastern Europe into the Western Europe and on the Korean Peninsula. These are the places where there's concern that if the U.S. doesn't have the option, it makes our forces very vulnerable. But again, these are anti-personnel weapons to slow offensive assaults, not to be used in a city. The only reason you do that is a changing tactic on the part of the Iranian regime to get around Israeli missile defense.
Right. And we do know that Iran is firing munitions from inside populated civilian areas with people in harm's way. But they are targeting Israeli citizens with these cluster bombs. I want to make sure I get that right because I didn't at first. There's another aerial threat now. Iran's drone swarms are forcing the Pentagon to rapidly expand layered air defenses in the Middle East to protect our troops stationed there. And the drones fly lower, move slower, and often arrive in clusters, making them harder to detect and more likely to strain defenses built for high-speed threats. They are cheap for the enemy to produce, but expensive to defend against. Brent.
Yes, this is another case. The tactics are changing on the battlefield. The Iranians have been using a lot of these Shahed drones, slow, and also flying very low. But again, there's teams from Ukraine to bring in techniques and concepts of operations to defend against them. So you're seeing this evolve using helicopters with machine guns and fighter aircraft, much cheaper, more effective way to actually go take out groups of these types of low-cost drones.
All right, you talked about, is this a shift in terms of those cluster munitions? Is this a shift in terms of the so-called selected new supreme leader for Iran? We know that a statement has been released. It is not in his voice. We can't verify if it's his handwriting or not. They say it is. And it's released in state-run media by a person reading that. What do you make of what we've learned about that statement?
I think it makes it increasingly clear that this supreme leader is more of a figurehead. If he is actually alive, or at least not in a comatose kind of state after that attack early in this conflict, that it's really the IRGC that's making the military and the operational decisions on the field. The movement to cluster munitions, I think, would be very clearly inside their purview, as well as the shifting use of drones, the most recent using unmanned surface drones to go after shipping in the northern end of the Persian Gulf.